I think having the word Eros in the title very openly, I think sets the stage and sets the tone for centering the erotic aspect of this story, which within the original ancient myth is already very present, right? I mean, ultimately, it's a story about a transgressive passion that can take place only in the dark, and is very sexual. So, queering the story and taking the character of Eros, who is the god of love and desire in the ancient Greek pantheon, aka Cupid, and changing him into a genderqueer, non-binary lesbian goddess, really changes the story in the sense that it makes it queer. And therefore, these themes of transgression, of hiding in order to know your passion, hiding in order to be free, take on new meaning. And so all of that is sort of wrapped up in having the word Eros, having that name very present. And then the palace, in the original story, Eros falls in love with a mortal woman called Psyche and takes her to this palace where they can be free, where they can be together, but only in the dark, only in the dark bedroom. Eros only arrives at night, and the two rules are you can never light a lamp here, and you can never ask me who I am. Other than that, Psyche is free within this palace. So the palace is also in some ways a metaphor for, that place where we can experience our whole, where we can belong, where we can find joy, and where we can experience erotic passion. But is it also a place with limits? Can we expand that palace space into the whole world, right? Or do we only have pockets in the world where we can be whole and free? So it sort of raises all of those questions, at least for me. In terms of process, having music on, I have one album that I have listened to for years while working on novels. I think I started during A Gods of Tango, and I've sort of kept it with me ever since. And I have a rule for myself. I only listen to this album when I'm working on a novel. So because of that, it sort of has this kind of psychic groove for me. When I hear that music, it sort of signals something to my subconscious. We're going in, we're going into that flow place, that trance place. So I do use that as a way of trying to go deeper process wise. It's Aguas de Amazonia by Philip Glass. It's named for the rivers of the Amazon, of South America. So there's a lot in there for me, flowing through those rivers. But that has become a very powerful trick or tool for my process in general. Um, and yeah, I think for writing the erotic, I think ultimately we bring the same tool set that we bring to all of the writing about the sort of depth and nuance and range of human experience. The erotic is one of the ways that we know our bodies, one of the ways that we know our truth, our true desires. And I think when we think of it as writing not only what is happening in a sex scene, what is logistically happening, but also think of it as the mapping of a person's inner desires and inner experience of what is happening, what people are knowing or wondering about their own bodies, about connection. When those things come into play, it can be, a rich, complex scene. And I mean, I think we're still on the journey of being able to have especially queer or feminist centered erotic writing be taken seriously in a literary way. Um, but honestly, I mean, Philip Roth got taken seriously in a literary way, writing, his erotic truths. And Henry Miller, Tropic of Cancer, that is an example to me of the fact that there has been a literary double standard about who can get taken seriously aesthetically when writing this subject matter. And, part of my writing this book is sort of unapologetically wanting to lift up that possibility, not just for myself, but for all of us and for our communities.